The baby stopped crying. And that was what terrified Serafina Rowe the most. A moment ago the small apartment had been filled with weak desperate cries, the kind that scraped against your nerves and refused to let you breathe. Now there was nothing. Just silence. Not peaceful. Not calm. Wrong. Serafina froze on the worn-out couch, her body stiff, her heart slamming against her ribs so hard it hurt. Her fingers tightened instinctively around her phone, the dim glow of the screen casting shadows across her face. Hey, stay with me baby. Her voice trembled as she shifted the small weight in her arms. The little girl, barely 8 months old, lay against her chest, too still. Too quiet. Her tiny fingers curled weakly into the fabric of Serafina's sweater, but there was no strength behind it. No urgency. No fight. That was worse than crying. Way worse. No, Serafina whispered, panic rising fast, sharp, uncontrollable. She adjusted the baby gently, brushing her cheek with trembling fingers. Still warm. Still breathing. But faint. Too faint. The digital clock on the wall read 11:58 p.m. 2 minutes to midnight. 2 minutes until the world outside would explode into celebration, fireworks, laughter, champagne, and inside this apartment her baby was fading. The formula can be found on the table. Empty. She had shaken it earlier. Harder than she meant to. As if force could produce something out of nothing. It didn't. Now it sat there like a reminder of failure. Of limits. Of reality. Serafina swallowed hard, her throat dry. Okay, think. Her mind raced, jumping between options she had already exhausted. Store. Closed. Neighbors. She barely knew them. Friends. She stopped that thought immediately. There was none she could call at this hour. Not anymore. Her eyes drifted to her phone again. Battery 3%. Of course. Of course it was. Her laugh came out hollow. You've got to be kidding me. Outside the window, far in the distance, the skyline shimmered. Across the river the towers of Manhattan stood, glowing, untouchable, distant, almost unreal. Lights in perfect rows. Glass reflecting celebration. Another world. A world where people weren't counting dollars down to cents. A world where babies didn't go hungry. Serafina looked down at her daughter again. Just hold on, okay? She whispered. But her voice didn't sound convincing. Not even to her. She stood up quickly, adrenaline forcing movement. The small kitchen barely deserved the name, just a counter, a sink, and a flickering overhead light that buzzed every few seconds. She grabbed the bottle. Empty. Her eyes moved to the faucet. For a moment, just a moment, she considered it. Water. Dilute it. Make it stretch. Just something in the baby's stomach. Her hands shook. No, she said sharply, pulling back. She knew better. Water intoxication. Dilution risk. It could make things worse. She pressed her lips together, eyes burning. Think, Serafina. Think. Her gaze landed on her phone again. There was one number. One. A contact she had saved months ago but never used. Not because she didn't need it. But because using it meant something. It meant admitting she couldn't do this alone. And that had always been the one thing she refused to accept. Her fingers hovered over the screen. Battery 2%. Time 11:59 p.m. The baby stirred weakly. That was it. That was the moment pride was lost. Her thumb moved. Before we continue the story, kindly tell us where are you watching from and what time is it over there. And hit that subscribe button now, and I have something new for you tomorrow. Stay tuned, thanks. Let's continue. She opened the message thread. Her hands trembled as she typed. Please, I'm so sorry to ask this. I just need $25 for baby formula. My daughter hasn't eaten and I don't know what else to do. I'll pay you back Friday. I promise. I'm really sorry. She stared at it. Too desperate. Too much. Not enough. Her chest tightened. She added one more line. Please. She hit send. Message delivered. 11:59 p.m. Battery 1%. Serafina let out a shaky breath. It was done. Nothing else to do now. Nothing else she could do. She held her baby closer, rocking gently. It's okay, help's coming, it has to be. But even as she said it, her phone's screen flickered. Then it went black. Across the river 47 floors above Manhattan a phone vibrated. And everything was about to change. Callaway Reese didn't celebrate New Year's anymore. Not the way other people did. Not with crowds. Not with noise. And definitely not with people pretending to care. His penthouse overlooked the entirety of Manhattan, floor-to-ceiling glass stretching across the walls like a living painting. The city was alive tonight, explosions of color already beginning to bloom in the sky, reflections dancing across polished marble floors. Behind him, untouched on a sleek black counter, sat a bottle of champagne. Still sealed. It had been placed there hours ago by his assistant. He hadn't touched it. Callaway stood near the window, one hand in his pocket, the other holding his phone loosely. His expression was calm. But his eyes were somewhere else. The city adored him. I admired him. I envied him. But none of them knew him. Not really. His phone buzzed. He barely glanced at it. Unknown number. He almost ignored it. Almost. But the preview appeared. Just a few words. Please, I just need $25 for baby formula. His thumb paused. Something about it felt different. He opened the message. Read it once. Then again. Then a third time. No links. No demands. No urgency for thousands of dollars. Just $25. An apology after apology. Callaway exhaled slowly. This is new, he murmured. He had seen scams before. Hundreds. Maybe thousands. This didn't feel like one. He looked back out at the skyline. Fireworks began to burst, fully now, bright, loud, celebratory. The city is cheering for a new beginning. But his mind wasn't on the fireworks anymore. It was somewhere else. Somewhere older. Smaller. Darker. A memory surfaced. Uninvited. Unwelcome. A tiny apartment. A broken heater. A woman coughing in the corner. And a child sitting on the floor hungry. Callaway's jaw tightened. He looked back at the message. Then at the time. 12 a.m. He typed a reply. Stopped. Deleted it. Typed again. Stopped. Deleted again. Sending money would be easy. Instant. Efficient. Safe. But something in him resisted. Something deeper. Something older. He grabbed his coat. That was when he made the decision that would change both their lives. Marcus said into his phone as he walked toward the elevator. I need a location traced. Now. Serafina didn't know how much time had passed. Minutes. Maybe more. It felt like hours. The baby had fallen into that same terrifying quiet again. Still breathing. But weaker. The apartment felt colder now. Or maybe it was just fear. Then a sound. A knock. Serafina froze. Her entire body went still. Her heart stopped. Then slammed back harder. Another knock. Firm. Controlled. Her mind raced instantly. Who would be here? At this hour? No one knew. No one should know. Her breathing quickened. She stood slowly, clutching her baby tightly. Moving carefully. Quietly. Who is it? She called out, her voice tight-guarded. A pause. Then a voice. Calm. Measured. My name is Calloway Reese. Her blood ran cold. I received your message. Silence. Serafina didn't move. Didn't breathe. I didn't think so. That wasn't possible. You texted the wrong number, the voice continued. But it reached me. Her grip tightened around her baby. Her instincts screamed. Danger. Risk. Unknown. I brought a formula, he added. Her heart cracked. She stepped closer to the door. Slowly. Carefully. And for the first time that night, hope and fear collided. She reached for the lock. And hesitated. Because once she opened that door, everything would change. And deep down she already knew it. Serafina's hand hovered over the lock. Her pulse thundered in her ears. On the other side of that door stood a man who knew her situation, a man who claimed he received a message that was never meant for him. A stranger. At midnight. In a city where trusting the wrong person could cost everything. Her instincts screamed at her to step back. To stay silent. To pretend no one was home. But then a weak sound. Barely audible. The baby stirred against her chest. Not a cry. Not even close. Just a faint, tired whimper. That decided everything. Wait, Serafina said, her voice tight. She stepped closer, leaning toward the door. If this is some kind of joke. It's not, the man replied calmly. No hesitation. No defensiveness. Just certainty. She slid the deadbolt halfway. Stopped. Then secured the chain lock. Slowly, cautiously she pulled the door open just 3 inches. At first all she saw was darkness in the hallway. Then him. Tall. Sharp features. The dark suit slightly loosened at the collar, like he had been somewhere formal but left in a hurry. Behind him the dim hallway light caught the edges of several bags in his hands. And behind him a second man. Larger. Still. Watching. Serafina's heart dropped. Security. Of course. Her eyes snapped back to the stranger. You said your name is what? Calloway Reese. The name meant nothing. But something about the way he said it, like he expected nothing in return, made her hesitate. I didn't text you, she said quickly. You did, he replied. Just not intentionally. Her grip tightened on the door. How did you find me? A pause. He didn't dodge it. I traced the number. Her stomach twisted. That should have scared her more. It did. But not enough to outweigh the reality in her arms. I brought what you asked for, he said, lifting one of the bags slightly. Formula. The right kind. Her eyes dropped instantly to the bag. Her breath caught. She could already recognize the brand by the shape of the container. Not the cheap kind. The one her baby actually needed. The baby whimpered again. That soft, painful sound. Serafina closed her eyes briefly. Then made her decision. The chain rattled. The door opened wider. Come in, she said quietly. The apartment felt even smaller once Calloway stepped inside. Not just because of his presence, but because of everything he brought with him. Clean air. Order. Control. Serafina noticed it immediately. The contrast. He moved carefully, deliberately placing the bags down on the small table without asking questions, without looking around too much. Respectful. Controlled. Bottle? He asked simply. She nodded quickly, moving to the counter. Her hands fumbled slightly as she grabbed it. Her fingers were shaking too much. Before she could react, he was beside her. Not too close. Just enough. I've got it, he said. She hesitated. Every instinct told her not to let a stranger do something this intimate. This is important. But then she looked at her baby. And let go. He worked efficiently. Measured water. Perfect ratio. No guessing. No hesitation. You've done this before, she said quietly. A brief pause. Then yes. He didn't explain. And she didn't ask. Moments later the bottle was ready. Warm. Perfect. Serafina took it in her breath. She didn't realize how tightly she was holding everything in until that moment. Hey hey baby, she whispered, sitting down quickly. The baby latched weakly at first. Then stronger. Desperate. Hungry. Serafina let out a sound she didn't even recognize. Half sob. Half relief. There you go, she whispered, tears slipping down her cheeks. The apartment went quiet again. But this time it was different. This silence wasn't fear. It was a relief. Calloway stepped back, giving her space. His eyes moved briefly across the apartment, the worn furniture, the flickering light, the empty cabinets. He didn't comment. Didn't judge. But something shifted in his expression. Subtle. Controlled. But real. You didn't have to come, Serafina said after a moment. Her voice was still shaky. I asked for $25. I know, he replied. She looked up at him. Then why? He didn't answer immediately. Instead he looked at the baby. Then back at her. Because $25 wouldn't have solved this, he said quietly. Her throat tightened. And for the first time she believed him. The baby finished half the bottle before slowing. Her tiny body is finally relaxing. Her breathing evening out. Serafina didn't move. Didn't speak. She just watched. Memorizing the moment. As if it could disappear again. Calloway stood near the window, hands in his pockets, looking out into the city. Fireworks painted the glass behind him. Red. Gold. White. You live like this? He asked finally. Not judgmental. Just direct. Serafina stiffened slightly. For now, she said. A pause. What happened? There it was. The question she knew would come. She could lie. Give something simple. Something safe. But something about him, the way he showed up, the way he didn't ask for anything in return, made lying feel unnecessary. I had a job, she said slowly. Accounting. He turned slightly. Listening. Fully. It wasn't amazing, but it was stable. Benefits. Consistent pay. She swallowed. Then I noticed something. His posture changed. Just slightly. More focused. Numbers that didn't add up, she continued. Small at first. Easy to ignore. But they kept happening. What kind of numbers? Transfers. Vendors that didn't exist. Accounts that shouldn't be there. Calloway didn't interrupt. Didn't react. But his attention sharpened. I asked about it, she said. A week later I was gone. Just like that? She nodded. Position eliminated. No warning. No explanation. And you kept records? Her jaw tightened. They took everything before I could. Silence. The baby shifted softly in her arms. Content now. Safe. Calloway looked away for a moment. Thinking. Calculating. What was the company? He asked. She hesitated. Something told her this mattered. More than she understood. Virex Capital, she said. And that was the moment everything changed. Calloway's expression didn't explode. Didn't react. Dramatically. But it hardened. Just slightly. Just enough. Because he knew that name. The room felt different now. Heavier. Charged. Serafina noticed it immediately. You've heard of it, she said. Calloway didn't answer right away. He walked slowly toward the table. Picked up his phone. Then set it back down. Yes, he said finally. Her stomach dropped. How? She asked. He looked at her. Really looked this time. Because they work with me. Silence. What? She whispered. They're one of several firms that manage distributions for one of my foundations. Her grip tightened around the baby. That's not. She shook her head. That's not possible. It is. No, she said again, stronger now. What I saw and what I found, if that's connected to you, it is that. He cut in quietly. The air shifted. You're telling me, she said slowly, her voice shaking now, that the company that fired me is connected to you, and the money I think they're moving could be mine. He finished. Silence filled the room. But this time it wasn't a relief. It was something else entirely. Something dangerous. Serafina looked down at her baby. Then back at him. I lost everything because of what she said. My job. My stability. My life. Calloway's jaw tightened. And if you're right, he said quietly, then that's only the surface. Her heart began to race again. This is bigger than I thought, isn't it? He didn't answer. Which was the answer? Then a knock. Both of them froze. Serafina's blood ran cold. That's not possible, she whispered. Calloway's expression changed instantly. Sharp. Alert. Did you tell anyone I was here? He asked. No. The knock came again. Louder this time. Serafina stepped back instinctively. Fear flooding her system. Who is that? She whispered. Calloway didn't answer. Because he already knew this night wasn't over. It was just beginning. The knock came again. Harder this time. Not hesitant. Not uncertain. Whoever was outside wasn't guessing. They knew someone was inside. Serafina's entire body locked. Her breathing turned shallow and uneven. Her arms instinctively tightened around her baby, pulling her closer as if she could shield her from whatever was coming through that door. Calloway didn't move at first. But his entire presence changed. Gone was the calm, distant billionaire. In his place something sharper. Controlled. Dangerously aware. Stay back, he said quietly. Not loud. Not aggressive. But firm enough that she obeyed without thinking. The knock came again. This time followed by a voice. Male. Confidence. Ms. Rowe. We need to speak with you. Serafina's heart stopped. They used her name. She looked at Calloway, panic flooding her expression. I didn't tell anyone I know, he said calmly. But his eyes had already moved to the door. Calculating. Who is it? Serafina called out, her voice unsteady. A pause. Then building management. We received a complaint. Calloway's jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. That's a lie, he murmured under his breath. Serafina's stomach dropped. What do we do? She whispered. Calloway stepped closer to the door, but not too close. Measured. Careful. Do you have a peephole? She shook her head. Broken. Of course it was. Another knock. More forceful now. Ms. Rowe, we know you're inside. The baby stirred again. A soft sound. Too loud in the silence. Serafina's fear spiked instantly. They'll hear. Calloway raise a hand gently. Give her to me. She hesitated. Again. That instinct. That deep protective fear. But the situation had changed. This wasn't about trust anymore. This was about survival. She handed the baby over. Reluctantly. Carefully. Calloway adjusted his hold with surprising ease. Secure. Steady. I'm going to open the door, he said. Serafina's eyes widened. No, what if they're already here? he said calmly. Not opening it won't make them leave. That was the truth. And they both knew it. The knock came again. Hard enough now to rattle the frame. Calloway stepped forward. Unlocked the deadbolt. Then paused. Just for a second. And in that second his entire demeanor shifted. Cold. Controlled. Unreadable. He opened the door. Two men stood outside. Not building management. Too clean. Too precise. Too aware. Dark jackets. Sharp eyes. The kind of posture that didn't come from maintenance work. Their attention immediately snapped to Calloway. Then recognition. It happened fast. But Serafina saw it. A flicker. A mistake. Sir, one of them said quickly, adjusting his tone. We didn't realize that. Calloway interrupted. Calm. Flat. Dangerously quiet. The hallway went still. The second man shifted slightly. Recovering. We're here regarding a complaint, he said, trying again. Calloway stepped forward slightly. Just enough. No, he said. You're not. Silence. The first man hesitated. Then we may have the wrong unit. Calloway didn't blink. Yes, he said. You do. Another pause. Longer this time. The tension stretched tight. Then they backed off. Apologies, one of them muttered. And just like that they left. Calloway closed the door. Slowly. Locked it. The silence that followed was heavier than anything before. Serafina's voice came out barely above a whisper. Who were they? Calloway didn't answer immediately. Because he already knew. And that answer would change everything. They weren't here for a complaint. Calloway handed the baby back gently. His movements were controlled. But his mind is already racing ahead. Serafina took her daughter, holding her tightly again. What does that mean? She asked. It means, he said slowly, that someone knows something. Her stomach dropped. That's not possible, she said quickly. I didn't tell anyone about what I found. I believe you. Then how he turned to her. Eyes sharp now. Focused. Who else knew you were asking questions at your old job? She hesitated. Thinking. Replaying everything. My supervisor said, and HR, I guess. And after you were fired? No one, she said immediately. I kept everything to myself. Calloway nodded slightly. But something didn't add up. Then this isn't about what you told people, he said. She frowned. What else would it be? A pause. Then what if it's about what you know? The room seemed to shrink. Serafina felt it. That shift. That realization. You think they're watching me? She asked quietly. I think, Calloway said carefully, that if what you saw is connected to the same network I'm thinking of. He didn't finish. He didn't need to. Her pulse quickened. This isn't just about money, is it? She said. No. The answer came too quickly. Too certain. It's about control, he added. And people who don't like loose ends. Her arms tightened instinctively around her baby. I'm not a loose end, she said. I don't have anything. That's not how they see it, he replied. Silence. The weight of it settled in. Heavy. Unavoidable. Serafina looked at him. Really looked this time. You said they work with you, she said slowly. Which means, he met her gaze. They have access, he finished. The realization hit hard. They could know where you are, she whispered. Yes. And they came here tonight. Yes. Her breath caught. That means this wasn't random, she said. No, he agreed. It wasn't. The baby shifted softly in her arms. Content. Unaware. Serafina's voice dropped. Barely steady. What do we do? Calloway didn't hesitate this time. You don't stay here. The words hung in the air. Heavy. Final. Serafina blinked. What? You're not safe here anymore, Calloway said. Her instinct kicked in immediately. Defensive. Resistant. This is my home. It's a place they already found, he replied. Her jaw tightened. I can't just leave, she said. I have nothing else. You do now. The words landed differently. Not comforting. Not reassuring. Terrifying. What does that mean? She asked. Calloway stepped closer. Not invading. But present. It means this situation is bigger than you thought, he said. And now you're part of it whether you want to be or not. Her pulse raced. I didn't ask for this. I know. Then why is this happening to me? Calloway paused. Just for a moment. Then answered honestly. Because you saw something you weren't supposed to. Silence. Her mind spun. Trying to catch up. Trying to process. And now? She asked. Now, he said, we make sure that doesn't cost you everything. Her eyes searched his face. You keep saying we, she said quietly. A beat. Yes. Why? That question lingered. Not simple. Not easy. Calloway exhaled slowly. Because I think you uncovered something inside my own system, he said. And if that's true, his expression hardened. Then this isn't just your problem. The room fell silent again. But this silence was different. This wasn't fear anymore. This was a realization. Serafina looked down at her baby. Then back at him. What happens if I say no? She asked. Calloway didn't sugarcoat it. Then you stay here, he said. And hope they don't come back with less patience. Her breath caught. No comfort. No illusion. Just the truth. Her decision formed before she even realized it. Okay, she said quietly. Calloway nodded once. Good. He reached for his phone. Already moving. Already planning. We leave now. Serafina looked around the apartment. Her entire life in one room. And realized she wasn't coming back. Outside, the city kept celebrating. Fireworks exploding across the sky. But inside that small apartment, a completely different story had just begun. And there was no going back. The black car didn't look like it belonged in Serafina Rowe's world. It didn't look like it belonged anywhere near her life at all. Too clean. Too silent. Too final. Calloway opened the back door himself. No chauffeur. No escort. Just him. Get in, he said. Not harsh. Not optional. Serafina hesitated. The baby stirred in her arms again as if sensing the shift in atmosphere. Everything inside her screamed. But everything outside her life had already said you don't get a choice anymore. She stepped in. The door closed behind her with a soft, expensive seal. And just like that, her apartment, her past, her old reality, disappeared. The car moved instantly. No hesitation. No visible destination entered. Just motion. Serafina held her baby tighter. What's happening? She asked quietly. Calloway didn't look at her right away. His eyes stayed forward. Watching. Calculating. Someone tried to locate you tonight, he said finally. Her stomach dropped. Those men? Yes. Who are they? A pause. Then not building management. She already knew that. But hearing it confirmed made it real in a way that felt heavier. They were sent because of what you found, Calloway continued. Or what they think you found. I didn't take anything, she said quickly. I don't have files anymore. I don't have proof. I believe you, he interrupted. Calm. But absolutely. That made her pause. Then why am I being moved like this? She asked. Calloway finally turned slightly toward her. Just enough that she could see the edge of his expression. Because belief doesn't matter to them, he said. Control does. Silence filled the car. Outside Manhattan blurred into streaks of light. A city celebrating something Serafina no longer felt part of. They think you're a variable, he added. And variables get removed. Her grip tightened around her baby instinctively. I'm not anything important, she said quietly. Calloway looked at her then. Really looked. That's where you're wrong, he said. And didn't elaborate. The building they arrived at wasn't labeled. No signage. No identity. Just a reinforced entry door and a guard who didn't ask questions. Inside everything was minimal. Neutral. Designed for invisibility. Serafina stepped inside slowly, her heart still racing. This is yours? She asked. Calloway shook his head. No. Then whose is it? He paused. A place people like me use when things get complicated. She didn't like that answer. Not at all. A woman entered from a side corridor moments later. Professional. Calm. Observant. She looked at Serafina first. Then the baby. Then back at Calloway. She's the one? The woman asked. Calloway replied. Serafina stepped back slightly. What does that mean? The woman approached. I'm Dr. Leanne Kess, she said gently. You're safe here. Safe. The word didn't land correctly. Not after everything. Serafina's voice sharpened. People said I was safe before too. Dr. Kess nodded once. I understand. Calloway stood nearby watching everything. Not intervening. Not controlling. Just observing. That made Serafina more nervous than anything. I need to know what's going on, she said firmly. I'm not a problem if you relocate. Calloway nodded slowly. You're right. Silence. Then your evidence, he said. The room tightened. Even the air felt like it shifted. What? Serafina whispered. You didn't just notice something wrong, he said. You noticed a pattern. Her pulse quickened. And that pattern connects to multiple financial layers inside systems I control. She shook her head. No. I only saw small transactions. Discrepancies, that's how it starts, he said. Quiet. Seriously. And how does it end? She asked. Calloway didn't answer immediately. Then with people being erased before they understand what they saw. Silence. The baby made a small sound. Soft. Alive. Real. Serafina held her tighter. I didn't choose this, she said. I know. Then why am I here? Calloway stepped closer. Not intimidating. But present. Because now we need to understand exactly what you saw. And who else saw it too? A pause. And because he added quietly, you're already inside it whether you agree or not. Hours passed. Data. Screens. Quiet analysis. Serafina didn't understand most of it. But she understood enough. Patterns. Flows. Money moving through places it shouldn't. Then disappearing. Then reappearing elsewhere. It's laundering, she said quietly. Calloway looked at her. You're not wrong. Her chest tightened. This is bigger than Virex, she said. Yes. And bigger than your foundation. Another pause. Yes. Silence hit the room like a weight. Serafina felt it then. The scale of it. The thing she had stepped into without knowing. I was just trying to feed my baby, she whispered. Calloway's voice softened slightly. I know. She looked up at him sharply. You keep saying that it matters. It does. How? A long pause. Then because if you weren't who you are, he said slowly, you would have been ignored. She froze. But you weren't. Her breath caught. You noticed, he continued. And that changes everything. A technician entered the room quietly. Placed a file on the table. Calloway opened it. Read once. Then stopped. His entire expression changed. Just slightly. But enough. Serafina noticed immediately. What is it? She asked. He didn't answer right away. Then he turned the file toward her. One line. One name. Darius Cade. Serafina frowned. I don't know that you don't need to, Calloway said. His voice had changed. It's getting colder now. Controlled. Because he's the one who signed your termination. Silence. Her stomach dropped. That's impossible, she whispered. Calloway looked at her. No, he said. It's not. The room felt smaller again. He continued quietly. He's not just part of this. A pause. He's the architect. The lights in the safe house dimmed slightly as systems shifted into lockdown protocol. Serafina noticed. So did Calloway. That was fast, he murmured. What? She asked. He didn't answer immediately. Instead he looked at the monitors. Then at her. We're no longer invisible, he said. Her blood ran cold. What does that mean? It means, he said carefully, they've started looking for you in the right places. A beat. And they found one of them. The room went silent. Serafina held her baby tighter. Are we in danger right now? She asked. Calloway met her eyes. Honest. Direct. Yes. No hesitation. No cushioning. Then he added, but not unprepared. Footsteps echoed outside the corridor. Distant. Controlled. Serafina froze. Calloway didn't move. But his voice dropped. Stay behind me. The door handle turned. Slowly. Deliberately. And the system inside the building shifted again, locking. Securing. Preparing. Serafina's entire world narrowed to a single thought: whatever she had uncovered was no longer a secret. It was a target. And someone had just arrived to erase it. The door never fully opened. It stopped halfway. And then silence. Not the peaceful kind. The controlled kind. Like something had been paused mid-motion. Calloway didn't move. Neither did Serafina. But the tension in the room shifted instantly. Not toward violence. Toward recognition. A voice came from the corridor. Calm. Familiar. Too familiar. You brought her here faster than expected. Serafina's stomach dropped. Because Calloway exhaled. Like he knew that voice. The man stepped into view. Not a stranger. Not an intruder. Someone who belonged here more than anyone else. Darius Cade. And he wasn't smiling. He looked disappointed. Like something had gone slightly off schedule. Serafina's voice shook. You. Darius ignored her. His eyes stayed on Calloway. You were supposed to observe, he said. Not intervene. Silence. Calloway didn't deny it. Serafina looked between them. Her mind is struggling to catch up. What is this? She whispered. Darius finally turned to her. Not cruel. Not angry. Worse. Clinical. You were never a victim by accident, he said. You were a trigger. Her breath caught. Calloway finally spoke. Quietly. We didn't expect you to find the pattern. Serafina stepped back. What does that mean? Darius answered instead. It means you confirmed what we needed confirmed. Her voice broke. I don't understand Calloway's expression. Then he said the truth. You were inside a test system, he said. Silence. A test. Not a trap. Not a chase. A test. For what? she whispered. Darius finally looked at her fully. And for the first time something like respect appeared. For integrity under pressure, he said. Her blood ran cold. You mean everything that happened to me was observed when Calloway finished? Silence shattered the room. Serafina's voice rose. You let me think my baby was starving. Calloway interrupted sharply. You were never allowed to fail. That stopped her. He continued. Every intervention point was monitored. Every escalation prevented crossing a line. You were never in uncontrolled danger. Her breathing shook. That's not, she whispered. That's not something you do to people. Darius nodded slightly. You're right. Then added, that's why we don't do it casually. Silence. The world tilted in Serafina's mind. Calloway stepped closer. His voice softened slightly now. You saw corruption, he said. You followed it correctly. And you refused to let it go. A pause. That's why you're here. Her voice trembled. So what now? Darius answered. Now, for the first time without distance. Now we tell you the rest. Hours later. No chaos. No running. No violence. Just the truth. Documents. Networks. Financial structures. Layer after layer revealed like peeling something invisible apart. Serafina sat frozen. Trying to understand it. You're saying, she said slowly, this isn't just one company? No, Calloway said. It's multiple. And the money I saw was a leak, Darius said. Not theft. She frowned. What's the difference? Calloway answered. Control. He pointed to the map. Every time you followed a leak, he said, you were steering toward the same endpoint. Serafina's breath caught. You used me, no, Calloway said immediately. You exposed it. Silence. And if I hadn't? She asked quietly. Darius answered honestly. Then we would still be missing confirmation. Her voice dropped. So it was necessary. Calloway looked at her. Not cold anymore. Just honest. Yes. That word landed heavier than anything else. Darius placed a final file on the table. This is where it ends for you, he said. Serafina looked at it. Then back at him. What is it? Calloway answered. A choice. Her throat tightened. You can walk away, he said. Disappear. We erase your involvement. You return to your life. A pause. Or, Darius added, you continue. Silence. Serafina laughed once. Small. Broken. My life? She whispered. I had no life before this. Calloway didn't respond immediately. Then he said something quieter. More personal. You had your daughter. That hit differently. Serafina looked down at her baby. Sleeping now. Safe. Then back up. If I walk away, she said slowly, this continues. Darius nodded. Yes. Her hands tightened. And if I stay? Calloway answered. You shape it. Silence. Long final. Then Serafina made her decision. I stay. The skyline of Manhattan looked different from above. Not distant anymore. Connected. Serafina stood in a glass office. Not behind it. Inside it. Her older daughter now played quietly nearby. Alive. Healthy. Safe. Calloway stood beside her. Not towering. Not distant. Just a present. Do you regret it? He asked. She thought for a moment. Then shook her head. No, she said. A pause. Do you? She asked. Calloway looked out at the city. The same city that had almost swallowed everything. No, he said. Silence. Then Serafina smiled slightly. One wrong text, she said quietly. Calloway nodded. One wrong text, he repeated. And outside the city kept moving. Unaware. Unchanged. Except for the people who now understood what lived beneath it. And the woman who once asked for $25 now controlled where the truth flowed next. Sometimes survival isn't about escaping danger. It's about discovering you were never meant to stay powerless. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Classic Story for more emotional stories about kindness and humanity.